Hello, everybody. Green Effect Podcast live on the air, episode, holy cow, 34. I'm almost at my age in the number of episodes. Anyway, listen, coming to you, it's a solo episode this week. We've got guests coming on for weeks ahead. So we'll have some new people on there. But for now, you just have to listen to me. And the good news is, I guess, I haven't really been on for a couple of weeks, and I'll talk about that in a moment. So actually talk about it right now. So yeah, I've been releasing episodes. I had a couple of guests on very close together, so I had enough material, we'll say, to release over the next over a time while I was away. But adjust my microphone here. Yeah, I was away for almost 2 weeks, so I headed down. Listen, I love taking trips on my own. My lovely, beautiful wife is not a big traveler. And when I was single before I met her, I actually traveled a lot on my own. And I won't lie, traveling alone without wife, kids, whatever, it's pretty awesome, actually. It's, again, love my wife and family, but I love traveling alone, which is what I used to do quite a bit of. So um, it's good. You kind of get up when you want. It's not, hey, what do you want for dinner? And then 20 minutes later, you still don't have a decision. Anyway, uh, did a bit of a road trip-ish. And so, as you guys know, kind of representing the hoodie, if you're watching on video, coach competitive volleyball for many, many years and retired from coaching, because that's a crazy thing to do right now. Um, and I've always had, so Minnesota is my favorite team. They're in the Big Ten Conference. Always had a dream. I don't want to say a dream, and we're not that extreme, but I've always wanted to drive from Kitchener Waterloo, where I live, down to watch a game at Nebraska. So you got to understand, Nebraska is probably the biggest, most successful program out there. Let's call it what it is. Like, seriously, my program hasn't even won a national championship yet in its history. Might not even happen this year for a while. We'll see, but that's a whole other issue. But Nebraska's kind of the mecca. Let's just call it what it is. And like, we're talking purpose-built stadium for them, sell out every single week or every single match. Just 14,000, I think they get in the stadium. They have standing room only as an option. It's pretty crazy. So I've always wanted to go and see a game there, and I wanted to drive, but I had to wait until Minnesota was at Nebraska early in the year. Like, so the girls' volleyball season goes from August till December. So I had to wait until it was earlier so the weather wasn't snow. I would not want to drive across the Midwest, or from Ontario to Nebraska in snowstorms. So finally it happened. But this was end of September. But maybe I'm getting old. I don't know. I told my wife a couple of days before, I'm like, man, I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted. I was busy with work because, the golden rule, if you're not busy, book a vacation all of a sudden, everybody wants you, right? So I said, I'm exhausted. I have a ton of Aeroplan points. Maybe I just fly, have a flight. I'm still accomplishing what I've always wanted to do. And so that's what I did. But of course, it's a trip on my own. I don't have to ask a lot of, hey, you want to do this, that, or the other thing. What I decided to do was, again, take a few days. It's been busy with me having started my business back in January. So I thought, you know what, let's make a bit of a trip out of it. So what I decided to do, and again, thank goodness I had all the Aeroplan miles to do this, but I basically flew from Toronto to Chicago, and I took in on the Friday night, took in a Wisconsin at Northwestern game. Again, women's volleyball in Northwestern's beautiful new renovated arena. Next day, I knocked something off my bucket list a bit and went to Wrigley Field for a baseball game there. Totally cool. Had a great seat, covered, which was nice, and have to sweat in the sun. Fantastic experience. People of Chicago, amazing. It's funny, you hear all kind of the bad things about the big cities in the US, and Chicago is without a doubt an exception. That they're amazing people. Didn't feel unsafe once. It was great. Anyway, got on a plane the next morning. All these little puddle jumper flights, believe me, not very long flights and not very big planes either. Flew from Chicago to Lincoln. Took in the Nebraska game. Insane. These folks, listen, they follow their team everywhere, like crazy stuff. And people were kind of getting mad at me. I got up to go to the bathroom a couple of times and eat this disgusting dyed red hot dog. Don't do it. And no one leaves their seats. Like people just sit in their seats for the whole game. Like crazy, really neat. It just a great fan base. It was really neat to see. So anyway, took it in. Minnesota lost 3 straight. No shocker if you're following the Gophers, you know how their season's going. But just an awesome experience, and then flew home the next day. So that was my little trip. That was my Steven get away from my life type trip, and it was a lot of fun. And then the other thing we had to do, my father-in-law and I drove down. As you guys know, my wife and I have a couple of rentals down in Fredericton. So as a guy's trip, him and I drove down to Fredericton to change out a deck that we have on one of our rentals that was unsafe. In fact, it was so unsafe. Here's a story of I burnt up a couple of lives and should probably go buy a lottery ticket because I seem lucky. Basically, we had to move stairs from one side to the other. So as an investor, listen, we always preach, hey, listen, get someone else to do it. Time is money, whatever. But this is a guy's trip, and my father-in-law is awesome at building stuff and whatever. So give him full credit. If he's listening to this, shout out Craig. Let me know that you're listening to this so I can actually prove that you do listen to my podcast like you say you do. This is the test right here. Anyway, so we had to pull up boards but we had to move stairs. So the stairs were rotting out on this wooden deck, and it was about 4 or 5 feet up maybe. Anyway, we had to move stairs, and they were rickety already. Later found out they were held up, I think, 3 nails. That's it. No screws, no nothing. Anyway, lucky all around. Father-in-law goes down, and listen, he's mid-60s. He goes down the stairs, no problem, thank God. Me at my girlish figure type weight, I step on the top step, and the whole thing comes down, and I go with it. Honestly, somebody up above is watching and wants me alive for a little longer because momentum going forward, steps fall below me. As not luck would have it, off to the right is an old steel trap door, like something you'd see on The Wizard of Oz out in Kansas for hurricanes. And honestly, but just by sheer luck, my head went towards it, full speed, and I somehow had the wherewithal to put my arm up. If you're on video, you can see. Arm was up on my forehead, and my head basically was blocked by bouncing off steel full speed by my forearm. How I didn't break my neck, back, have a concussion, and walk away, I swear to God, with 2 scrapes, sheer luck. Like, my father-in-law, I think, was more shaken than I was. It was just lucky. And it was, like I said, he's even more lucky. If he went down before me, oh, it's over. Like he's in hospital. Went to the hospital actually, and man, I thought the Ontario health system was bad. do not get hurt in Fredericton. Do not. And I don't know the political climate in New Brunswick. I don't know, but I went to the hospital. Drove to the hospital. I think my father-in-law was more shaken than I was, so I had to drive. And he also struggles to see at night in the dark. So if you can just see this kind of Beavis and Butthead scene. Anyway, we get to the hospital, and when you go to the deli counter, you pull a number, and it says now serving. Dude, that's the ER at Fredericton, at their general hospital. So I go in, I pull number 40. They're serving 52, the triage. One triage person. I waited 15 minutes. I'm like, this is not moving. I could be here for a week. I don't know. And I'm not slamming the people that work there. I mean, it is what it is. I live in Ontario, so who am I to say a damn thing? But needless to say, I said, you know what? Let's go. If things get worse, I'll call 911 to get in, and we'll see what happens. I probably should have seen a doctor that night and at least got some X-rays in case there was a brain bleed. You know, my extensive medical training off of Grey's Anatomy, but yeah, it was damn lucky. That's all. I'm here out of sheer luck. My father-in-law actually we get back to the Airbnb, and he had to go for a walk. He was more shaken than I was because we saw it go on. So anyway, it was kind of a crazy thing that went on. Anyway, okay, so let's get on to some more fun things. That's what's been going on for 2 weeks. That's why I didn't release one last weekend. I believe it was Thanksgiving, and I didn't release one, I think, the week before because I was just exhausted getting home. I can't remember. I can't even remember the timeline. Having said that, let's talk about our shit show of an economy right now and what the hell's going on, and I'll try to give you a sense of what we're seeing and stuff like that. And again, for the people on video, you're going to see my head kind of swivel a little bit because I'm bouncing around and looking at multiple monitors, like I'm trying to land planes at Waterloo Region Airport here. So, the hell's going on? Well, let's talk about this. So, where do I start? It's like pick the worst story, or pick a story that's really bad and see what happens. So, we very simply have higher supply. It is what it is. More stuff has come on the market for people to sell. I have flashbacks of 2017. Was it 2015 when there was a change, like a change in rules, change in rates, and all of a sudden we had people trying to sell their house that were I was used to use the term late to the party. And so we now have a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of supply on the market, basically. And I think it's a combination of a couple of things that I'm seeing and hearing from clients. Some are thinking this could be it. It's never going to go back up again. Let's just cash in now and get out. Others just simply can't afford their house. Like that's happening. Like people cannot afford their house. They've just renewed. They're maybe with a monoline lender or like Scotiabank, for example, who has adjustable rate mortgages, and now the rate's gotten to the point on the variable where they just can't do it anymore. Okay, I've had that conversation with a couple of clients, right? Which is scary because you can't really help them if their property values dropped and the debt, there's just no, unless you talk to family or whatever, there's no way to get out of it. Okay. We see it. So those are the main things that we're seeing. The other part is, sorry, there's a third part to that. If you're a first time home buyer, guys, like these poor first time home buyers, they're now having to qualify as if the rate is damn near 8.5%, give or take, right? And so it's tough to maintain these price levels at those rates. Now, we also see so again, those first time home buyers, if they're not buying, then supply sits for longer. Okay. I think was it last week or the week before I shared this story? I can't remember where it was. 3 different first time home buyers all came out of the woodwork. I've talked to them, I've stayed in contact, but they came out of nowhere one week. All 3 of them could afford something. They're ready. They could afford tomorrow. No problem, and with ease. Not even, we're not stretched, just with ease they could afford something. Okay? All 3 without exception. Now they just said now we're going to wait to see what happens. So I've talked about this before. If consumer sentiment is down and people ain't feeling good, and we like feeling good in Canada, shit's not going to move. And this is the pickle we're in right now. Okay, this is further supported. I love the months of inventory stat. So months of inventory is if the real estate board, stopped listing properties today, how long would it take for the board to sell out? So when we were at the height of the market, like was 2021 ish, okay, we had like 10 days of inventory. That is like off the charts, never been that low. You, you know, we had home inspectors and home stagers not doing anything because they didn't have to. You put up like a complete piece of garbage property was gone in an hour. Like that's how bad it was. Well, now what we're seeing, months of inventory in some places, we'll talk Kitchener, Waterloo, London, are either at or above 3 months of inventory. So that means it would take 3 months to sell this out. So houses are not sitting for a week or two, they're sitting for a month, month and a half, kind of how it's a balanced market, arguably. However, because we've been in such a depressed seller's market, we don't know how 3 months of inventory feels. 3 months of inventory should be balanced. It's not. It feels like we're in a buyer's market. We have buyers and agents, they're super excited. Holy crap, I could put a condition of financing in. Wowzers. I saw one 7 business days from date of acceptance on a condition. Giddy up. In the same breath, if you don't have a realtor and a mortgage broker working together for you to figure out timelines around we buy first, sell first, you're gonna have an issue. I had an issue, or I had a talk with a client this week, not my client. They were having issues with their bank, and basically they said they won't give me a bridge. I said, well, is your house purchase and sale, are they both firm? And she's like, no. And I said, well, you can't get a bridge if your things aren't firm. She's like, well, that's what the bank lady said. I said, well, yeah, she's absolutely correct. So anyway, the market is shifting. It's shifted. It's changing. It's still technically a balanced market at 3-ish months of inventory, but I suspect we're going to be in this world a little bit longer. I think that might even increase a little bit until these rates come down. And listen, we're going to see house prices drop right now. It's happening. If and when rates inevitably come down, and they are going to have to come down, if we're not in it right now, we're in a recession. We're not growing. Yes, inflation is like a dog humping your leg that won't stop. It just keeps going at the same level. Okay, can't get rid of it. I get it. Unemployment, we need more unemployed people. People are not going unemployed. Like, it's crazy to see. If that stuff continues, they're going to have to eventually drop rates. I don't know if inflation is going to come down. US inflation stayed at 3.7%. I'm sorry, fact check me on that one. I believe it's 3.7. They're already saying, dude, we are going to keep jacking up these rates until inflation gets down. Now, I don't know if they're going to have to back off on that. I think they might, because I don't think this thing's going anywhere anytime soon. But yes, prices will start to come down a little bit. I've said before, I don't think they're going very far. We have too many external impacts. We have record inflation, government who spends too much money. They don't have, we'll talk about him in a second. And historically, we have these peaks and valleys. Okay. So we'll end up seeing what happens, some other, let me just throw like my laundry list of shit that's impacting this. So I've got my notes here. So fewest level of GTA sales since the 90s. Dude, that was a recession. Late 90s specifically was getting towards the end of the recession in the 90s. Okay. The fewest number of GTA sales. I'm not shocked. Like, seriously, if you're shocked by this, I think I've used this term before. I got some magic beans to sell you, because there's just no freaking way, right? Interest rates obviously are an impact. What else we got here? Canadian home slumped. We talked about that. And again, like the old dog humping your leg that won't stop. Average rent went up another 11% in the past year. Like, we got nowhere for people to go. And listen, here's something I want to think about this for a moment. Please think about this for a moment and tell me what your thoughts are. If real estate investors are not buying properties, and we all know, we've talked about it. If you watch my social media, you'll see this. We have builders not building rental properties. Guess what? You got nowhere to go if you have a rental, or if you need a rental. That's going to keep going up. So what do we do with this? Right? That's going to keep being a problem. Rent is going to keep going up. No one's buying rentals. No one's building rentals. You can't qualify on a rental property in Ontario. No chance. right? I mean, there's a chance I don't want to tell everyone don't call me for an investment property, but you got to be really freaking smart. You need multi-residential to make it work, okay? And then possibly the biggest impact to our economy right now, and this is important, especially for our Gen X, maybe Gen Z, Best Buy is going to stop selling DVDs and Blu-rays next year. I'm hoping you can sense the sarcasm in my voice on that one, but it's funny with all the problems we have in the world right now. No more Blu-ray. Does anybody know where their DVD player or Blu-ray player is? I know where mine are. One's in a storage unit. One's in the garage. I think we use it as a coaster in the garage. One's at the cottage. I think I put the remote out because as you may know, we do Airbnb our property in the summer. I think I put that out more just to show that, hey, there's more than one remote. It looks better. Anyway, I'm being sarcastic, but we got a lot of shit going on right now in the economy. The DVDs and Blu-rays really don't matter. But hey, make sure you sell your DVDs and Blu-rays now. Get rid of them now because they're not going to be worth anything. Or maybe they will be worth more. Ooh, hold on a second. You can't supply and demand 101, baby, right there. If you can't buy them from Best Buy anymore and you got them, they should go up in value. Oh, I needed a side gig. Like I needed another stream of income. I think I may have just found it because I got some good ones. All right. Moving on because that's I think that's a snapshot, right? You guys know want to know what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. All right, what else we got here? All right, so JT. Oh, Justin Trudeau. Justin, like why does he just quit? Like just throw in the towel. Seriously? A lot of people don't like you. Just stop. Why don't you stop now? It's not going to get any better. And let me give an example why. So, if you're on TikTok, YouTube, whatever, priceless, eh? JT's at these world events and nobody wants to talk to the guy. I'm sure he has friends and I'm sure they've taken one video of two people giving him the cold shoulder. But first, we pick a fight with India. And guys, listen, disclaimer, I don't know all the details. All I know is he's picking fights. All right. We've picked a fight with China. So one of the videos, I guess they're at a G20 summit, or I don't know what it is, but I guess it's in alphabetical order. He sits beside China. I guess Canada, China, that's how it goes. And I guess the Chinese prime minister, I'm sorry, prime minister, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. I can picture him. I don't have his name. Basically just like ignores the guy. Like, screw you kind of thing. Right? And then the new Brazilian president, I'm sorry, I don't have his name. He kind of ignored him as well. Like, just in the kind of like in high school, you tap your friend on the shoulder. Hey man, can you be my friend? And this guy just kind of turned his back. Now listen, it might be coincidence, the timing and stuff like that, but I'm pissed off China. Picking fights with India. And I don't know if maybe I shouldn't say picking fights. I don't know all the facts. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we are absolutely in the right and we're fighting for something that's good. I don't know, but I just feel, my feeling is, let's say that we're picking a fight with India. I don't know if that's the case. I might be wrong. It's what it seems like. Apparently Brazil doesn't want to talk to us, right? It's just like, in the US, I mean, the only people that I think like us right now are the ones that we give money to. Like, I don't know. I don't know all the facts here, but this perception sucks. Like, I just feel, ugh, I'm not feeling warm and fuzzy. I'm just not. So, anyway, he's having some issues. All right. So let me just actually summarize one more thing. I want to talk about rates as well. Well, I talked a little bit about rates, but let me just address one more thing on rates. So people keep asking what the hell is going to happen with rates. Okay. As you guys know, I'm going to repeat some of this. Bond market dictates the fixed rates that banks and lenders offer. That's where they get the money to fund their mortgages. Okay. whereas the variable rate mortgage is more controlled by the Bank of Canada and then their decisions. So my first question I'm always asked, are rates going to go up? If we're talking about the prime rate, guys, we got one more coming. He's either going to do it October 20 whatever, or he's going to do it before Christmas. Okay, if he's smart, if he's trying to maintain some face, do it now. Dude, rip off the Band-Aid, jack it up 0.25%. Let us try to enjoy our Christmas, or at least adjust going towards Christmas. Okay, because you jacked it up before Christmas last year and that wasn't cool. Like, bah humbug. Seriously. Okay, so that's one part. Fixed rates. Most 1, 2, and 3-year fixed rates, not all. We still have 3-year fixed below 7% for sure on the prime side. But most of those short-term rates are over 7% now. That means you got to qualify at over 9. 4s and 5s are getting popular, not because, to be honest with you, not because the 4 or the 5-year fixed rate is the right solution choice, but it is the lowest of the fixed rates, or the lowest of the rates, period, that maximize affordability. Okay? Where are rates going to go? Prime's going to go up one more time, and I think we might see fixed rates top out a little bit, as long as the bond market can get its shit together and stop going up. Bond market prices have gone up, which means the banks have to pay more to get their funds. Way oversimplified. I didn't take economics in university. I'm just a bit of a nerd, and that's it. Okay? So, ask a lot of questions. If you're thinking of buying a house, get in early. Shameless plug time. Get in early. Talk to a mortgage professional. I'm actually releasing a program, hopefully the next week or two. When you drive 14 hours with your father-in-law, you total of 40 hours with your father-in-law, you have a lot of thoughts that go through your mind. We're going to have a program that comes out to help people who have mortgages. Too many times, I think mortgage brokers and agents and the people that I work with, I know present that company excluded, we just throw rates at people. Take this, take that, no explanation. We're doing planning with people, man. Seriously, like, we are mortgage planners. Tell me what you got. Let's figure this out. Let's do. I just had a client, for example. They started talking to me in January. They close next week. It took 3 months for us to provide them incredible advice, talk to accountants and lawyers, and then decide what they wanted to do with their book. Okay, we saved them money, man. We seriously saved them a lot of money. So those are things that, we're releasing a program. I don't want to mention the name yet because I haven't finalized my decision on it, but that's what you need to do. If you've got stuff moving, you're not sure. And I'm going to say this as well. I think people have to, and this is much easier said than done, I understand. We have to take away some of the stigma from people being embarrassed and ashamed as to what's happened financially to them. Okay. I think, listen, life happens. Someone comes to me and shit's out of control, something that they have done or not, I'm still here to help. Okay. There's no judgment. It is what it is, man. That's why we're here to help. That's why a mortgage broker, financial planner, whatever, that's why they're here, to help you. Okay. So, folks, don't let it get to the point where you got a bank knocking on your door wanting to sell your house out from under you. Okay. Don't let that happen. It doesn't happen literally that way, but don't let that happen. Reach out, ask for help. I think financial stress is something that's real. It's coming. It's here. It's here. How bad you let it get is up to you. And I sincerely mean that. Life happens. Okay. Don't think anything of it if you need help. It's almost financial stress, financial stuff like that. I think it is as real as mental health. We had Brittany on a couple of podcasts ago. We talked about this. All right. You watch. Financial issues are going to be one of the biggest sources or causes of suicide. I'm sure it's up there already with marital splits. It can consume your life. For the love of God, reach out. and ask for help. And I mean that sincerely. Okay. So, so important. All right. Let's end with that. That was heavy stuff, but it's true. Like it's, I don't wish that on anybody. Right. All right. That's all I got. Listen, you guys know where I am. All right. If you need me, if you need help, you have questions on this stuff, you have friends and family that you see confused or they met with somebody and they don't know what the hell they're doing, reach out. Arguably, I know what I'm doing with stuff. I've got partners that also work on different sides of the balance sheet. So anyway, enough shameless plug. All right. You guys know the dealio. All right. Love me, like me, want me, follow me, desire me, all that other stuff. 5 stars. I don't know if you know this again. 5 stars is the only one that my thing allows on iTunes and Google and Spotify and whatever. And until next time, everybody, as we always say, keep fit, have fun.